You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Court acquits KAMBWILI for alleging that President Lungu and FINDLAY couriers drugs. 5 unadopted PF cadres to contest as independents. PEP struggles to mobilize 100 Lusaka-based supporters. And in international news, South Africa try ex-President ZUMA on corruption charges. And in sports news, Wisdom KAIRA appointed INDENI Rose as head coach. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
The much awaited for Camnet conference is now scheduled for May 2021 with your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
We have believed that every Zambian was born for greatness and that you and I can contribute to the development of this nation.
The big questions to ask are, can Zambia develop through agriculture? Can we produce indigenous Zambian millionaires? Plan not to miss this national conference on empowering Zambians through agriculture knowledge. Dates 28th to 29th May 2021. Time 07:30 hours to 16:30 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Charges 950 kwacha. Lunch inclusive for both days. Payments through via mobile money on 0962 965 883. or 0979-753-010, or you can pay via Stanbic bank account number 91-3000-1825-325. Speakers will be Professor Reda.
We need Zambia to be one of the best nations in Africa.
Professor Munkumba.
If you just listen to a lecture, you may remember hardly anything. In 2 weeks' time, it's all gone. If you read, you may remember 10% of what you have read. If you participate in a discussion, 50% retention of the knowledge. So I always tell people, knowledge is the only thing that when you share it, you don't lose it.
Professor Msongole.
Agriculture can actually solve our unemployment for our youth. Through exports, agricultural exports, we can also stabilize our foreign exchange.
Honorable Bob Chinga.
When you do a budget, you plan it so that all the sectors, especially those that will give you low-lying fruits, in other words, you can achieve a lot with it, are the first things you do first.
And biologist Kamweneshe.
We came together and put our hands together and concentrate on the soil. The people in Kenya, these Swahili people said, Dongo ni mali, means soil, that's money.
Register your participation through Camnet lines. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. Patriots for Economic Progress PEP Party President Sean Tembo Friday afternoon struggled to mobilize 100 party supporters before the Electoral Commission of Zambia in the ongoing supporter verification exercise in Lusaka. The PEP president was Friday afternoon seen in panic mode by end of his party allocated time, where he only managed to present 76 supporters. Mr. Tembo, however, managed to present the remaining 24 supporters after being given another chance by the commission later in the day. Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development, UPND, and Socialist Party were among other political parties that managed to mobilize over 100 supporters who flocked to Mulungushi Conference Center to offer their support to their party. Details in this report.
Drama nearly locked the Mulungushi Conference Center after Patriots for Economic Progress PEP Party President Sean Tembo physically came to witness how his supporters were verifying their details. The PEP president was seen in a panic mood after he failed to mobilize the 100 members needed in Lusaka province to verify their membership and usher him on the ballot come August 2021. Later, officials from the Electoral Commission of Zambia were seen having an engagement with Mr. Tembo, where he was advised to mobilize the remaining party members.
No, just wait around. If we can finish first round before the other team comes. Yeah, this is just 24. Just 24, then we see us. Yes.
To his relief, a bus was later seen ferrying his supporters to the venue. This relief, however, came with its own challenges, as the supporters were told to wait for another chance as they had exhausted their time. Luckily, Mr. Tembo has since managed to have all his 100 members verify their details. Other political parties such as the United Party for National Development (UPND) and the Socialist Party were among other political parties that had their supporters verify their details Friday morning.
Let's go and campaign, issue-based campaigns. As UPND, we try by all means to ensure that we go into the campaigns with a message. We have the message to the Zambian people, but with them, we want to ask them that when they see us or when we see them, we should greet each other and continue with our campaigns. No fights. It's not the sign of weakness that we are weak. We are scared. We're not scared. But I think this country needs better leaders, not thugs, CADRES, start fighting around. We're not going to fight. We are serious-minded people. We want to come and govern in peace when we come.
The message is the same from the Socialist Party, who want political violence to be condemned at its highest.
Myself being a youth, I urge my comrades to engage into politics, but in a good and clean politics. So they should join the Socialist Party, because we do not allow young women, young youths, young men to involve into conflicts, to involve into fighting and so on. We are a peaceful party, just like our values, justice, equity and peace. So we say no to violence, and I urge my youths out there to engage themselves into politics, because this is the only way that they can voice out themselves.
And for other political supporters, they do not even know what their party symbols and slogans are, and one wonders if they are true party sympathizers.
So our Socialist Party, symbol yenu ni shani? Okay. And then slogan yenu ni shani? Slogan yenu ni shani? Slogan is easy, Symbol ya party yenu ni shani?
My left hand, that's my symbol.
Okay.
Sure.
Nga slogan ya party?
Slogan party is for Socialist Party. They never die.
Slogan ya party, Quarter 3, justice, peace and equity.
Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet News.
Some patriotic Front PF members in Lusaka Central Constituency have rejected the adoption of Margaret Mwanakatwe as the party's parliamentary candidate in the August general elections. PF Lusaka Central Youth Chairperson of Venon Muzumala Friday morning led other party supporters to the party secretariat, where they presented a petition against Ms. Mwanakatwe. The sympathizers have protested, saying Ms. Mwanakatwe has outlived her time as Member of Parliament for Lusaka Central, calling for a fresh candidate. And the Zambian Institute of Governors and Civil Liberties Advocacy Platform, Z-Club Chief Executive Officer Francis Chipili has appealed to all political sympathizers to respect the decisions made by their leaders who have seen confidence in the adopted candidates. Details in this report.
The long-awaited and anticipated political adoptions have been received with mixed feelings by political sympathizers who do not seem to be in agreement with the choices of their leaders. Some Patriotic Front PF members in Lusaka Central Constituency, led by Constituency Youth Chairperson Venon Muzumala, marched to the party secretariat to hand in a petition against the adoption of Margaret Mwanakatwe as the preferred candidate in the August general elections. The cadres have described the adoption as unfair, citing that Mrs. Mwanakatwe has outlived her time and that there is need for fresh minds in the constituency.
I am representing the 4 wards of Lusaka Central. Independence Ward, Sirwizia Ward, Kabulonga Ward, Narubwa Ward. We are getting pressure from all the wards. Candidate Mutupere is not sellable. Yes, sir. constituency. Mutupere chikanda mbwerenge palina chikanda. Palina tomato izuma. Twala bistisha shadi. God fearing party. Lokumva wali kwa techi ukwiro. Maratu upira matimanga. It's serious pressure. Wa chairman wa constituency chairman na walona pipi. Kawechi vya kushtisha candidate mwatupera. Give us a candidate that is
The members are determined to do whatever they can to ensure that Mrs. Mwanakatwe does not retain her seat.
Na problem ya menetiri nayo sitivomera na candidate wamele wanatipasa tifuna tibatipase ko winangu wamenetiza sevenza naye.
But the Zambia Institute of Governance and Civil Liberty Advocates Platform Chief Executive Officer Francis Chipili says party sympathizers should learn to respect the decision of their leaders who have confidence in their adopted candidates.
An unfortunate occurrence because as the youth wing, these must be learning from their elders on how to conduct in a democratic space. First of all, the decision, these youth are claiming that they have respect and are loyal to their party president, who is also the Republican president, Dr. Edgar Lungu. And so if they have respect and they are loyal to him, they cannot publicly go and demonstrate their adoption. As you know, the Patriotic Front Central Committee is chaired by the party president, who is President Lungu. And so they cannot in one breath be loyal to him and respect him and support him, and in another breath conduct or undertake a public protest.
And efforts to get a comment from the Patriotic Front Youth Chairperson Kambi could not materialize as his phone went unanswered by broadcast time. For now, we can only sit and observe as we are 89 days away from the general election. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In a related development, some United Party for National Development UPND members on the Copperbelt Kitwe Chimwemwe constituency have rejected the adoption of Matanda to contest as Member of Parliament on the party ticket. The residents have lamented that Mr. Matanda is unpopular in the area and that he has done nothing for the residents of Chimwemwe to deserve an adoption. They claim members who have been helpful in the constituency have been left out, citing Abel Ngandu and Thomas Mbewe as their preferred candidates. They have since vowed to vote for an opposition member should Mr. Matanda contest as the UPND candidate for Chimwemwe constituency.
Constituency kuno kukitwe mkwai natukwata kwa obwafya bwa adoption mkwai mchwa constituency n'abatuletera omuntu otalefwaya aboni ba matanda awo matanda batuletere na background tabapitire mkwai batupera kwa abantu abo twalefwaya apalinga ba Abeo na ba Thomas Mbewe bantu benga tupera mu mchwa constituency Matanda mchuma constituency ba bari tureba twala ku State House ba meya tureba twala ku UPND bose tureba twala ku chamber lelo ba MP nga mtupatisha tuletera ba Matanda lena tatwaye bodi twala hapa PF twala
tukana Matanda tatwa mwishi bawe mwe abantu abali mu ground bali Thomas Mbewe ero na Abel Ngandu nomba uyu muntu mwamufunya kwisa imaba constituency ngamulete tumara turufyanya tatulefwaya
kano omuntu wakwe bati abana akwe bali bomba mufiliro bakita support era tapade ofwa bomba eno nombo bese batuletere na fumira byo window simply because pali baumbiwa lyamo chuliremo Matanda twamukana tatulefwaya.
6 unadopted Patriotic Front PF parliamentary aspirants who have been left out of adoptions have announced intentions to stand as independents. The 6 include Nkana's Binwel Mpundu, Kalulushi's Rashida Mlenga, Bwana Mkubwa's Warren Chisha, Mwambazi, Lumezi's Mina Zulu, and Petauke's Emmanuel JJ Banda. The unadopted candidates state that their decision to stand as independents has been driven by the fact that they are more popular on the ground compared to the adopted candidates. They further state that pressure from the grassroots to stand as independents is another push factor. United Party for National Development UPND Chongwe constituency aspiring candidate Ivy Nawa has vowed she'll be on the ballot despite being left out in the adoption process. Addressing multitudes of her supporters, Ms. Nawa has accused the party district officials of corruption, warning that they will make the party lose the seat. Ms. Nawa has warned that there are some people who do not mean well for the people and have been imposing candidates on the people, further stating that they may cause the party to lose an election. More in this report.
Several United Party for National Development members in Chongwe protested over the party's decision to adopt Sylvia Masewo as the party's parliamentary candidate. The group, in solidarity with Ivy Musopelo Nawa, accused the district officials of corruption. Mrs. Nawa has warned that some senior party officials who are adopting unpopular candidates will make Mr. Ichilema lose elections, as she vowed to appear on the ballot.
They are just a handful. And they are being dictated by Honorable Masewo. And these people, if UPND, our president, Hakainde Hichilema, we love you. Yes. NMC members, we love you. May you look into this party. May you help our president to win, to get into State House. Yes. He is our only hope. If we do not help him, if we do not do the right things, we should forget about ushering in our president into State House.
Meanwhile, preferred councillors were also not given adoption certificates.
All these councillors that are here, Vanawina, landslide. But where are they? They haven't been given adoption certificates. Why? People who lost are the ones who've been given certificates.
Others had this to say.
I was an opposed candidate wa Mulenji. Up to lelo sopan. Certificate yanga siniza tili munyumba mwandani.
I personally, as a retired officer, automatically I'm going to support her. Yes. Whatever decision she's going to make.
Yes. Command the SG, the chairman elections. May you command them to revoke the certificates and give right candidates. Yes. I am the person who has suffered for this party for 5 years. PF have been approaching us. It's a defect from this party. We've persevered up to this end. But imagine people from nowhere, adoption certificate who are wrong. VaHH, each is the Pelican State House.
Mu 2016 waruza. Usheshua wa UPND. Mukaji kufuna kuruza. Mufuna kukotela mu opposition. Pachanga neka. Awe yone kaya vuta.
Questions were also asked. And what about the music of displeasure? Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Patriotic Front Msanzala constituency parliamentary candidate in Eastern Province, Elias Daka, has called on all party members to rally behind the party and secure a win for both the president and at parliamentary level. In an interview with Camnet TV Thursday, Mr. Daka has thanked the Central Committee for trusting him to lead the people of Msanzala. He says his time to work is now owing to the fact that he managed to enhance the living standards of the people using his own resources, assuring them that he will do more when voted into office. Mr. Daka further says Lusaka district still has developmental challenges, hence the need to work together and develop the district.
So I thank them for the stiff competition that they had put, the fight that was there for the party to come up with one candidate. Now that the party has chosen me, my plea is that let's work together. We are one family. I know everyone knew that at the end of the day there will be just one candidate. I'd like to say thank you very much for the Central Committee and the President himself for adopting me as a Member of Parliament for Msanzala constituency. Down to our people, I would like to urge our people in Msanzala to work hand in hand so that we see tangible development in Msanzala and the Lusangazi district. As you may be aware, Presenter, that Lusangazi is a new district which needs a lot of effort. So I urge all my people and all the councillors and the council chair to work hand in hand with the President so that we bring development to our people.
We take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chuluwa comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
This month, we're taking over your TV screen with brand new entertainment. We're the new leaders, ain't got no competitors. A border patrol agent is forced to work for a Mexican cartel in Coyote.
My family! It's up to you to keep them safe.
A Ghanaian fashion designer weathers societal prejudice while chasing her dreams in 40 and single.
Single ladies to the dance floor.
A husband will stop at nothing to cover the tracks of his wife's outrageous crime in What If?
It is your responsibility to make sure that I come out clean.
3 chefs go head-to-head using ingredients chosen by their very own neighbors in Kitchen Crash.
Oh, I love it. It's blended. It's meat sauce.
There's meat sauce.
And there are wacky adventures galore when 2 families are forced to live together in boy, girl, dog, cat, mouse, cheese.
We can handle it.
It's your moment to be taken over with the freshest entertainment.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Former National Democratic Congress leader Chishimba KAMBWILI has been acquitted by the Lusaka Magistrate Court in a case where he was accused of defamation of the president, where he alleged that the presidential plane is being used to courier drugs. Magistrate Felix Kauma used Article 201 of the Criminal Procedure Code to acquit him, following the state's application that the complainant in the matter, Mr. Peter Chanda, wanted to settle the matter in a Christian way. In this matter, the former NDC leader was dragged to court by new Congress Party leader Peter Chanda for questioning President Edgar Lungu's association with a Lusaka businessman, Mr. Valden Finlay. And speaking shortly after his acquittal, Dr. KAMBWILI told journalists that he is now ready to campaign for President Lungu. Details in this report.
Smiling face and a lifted spirit can be noticed on the face of former NDC leader Chishimba KAMBWILI after the court set him free on the charge of defamation of the president, a case he was accused of alleging that the presidential plane was used to courier drugs. The former opposition leader, who made his court appearance before Magistrate Felix Kauma Friday morning, was acquitted from the charge in line with Article 201 of the CPC, following the state's application to dismiss the matter. The state informed the court that the complainant in this matter, Pastor Peter Chanda, wanted to dismiss the matter. Pastor Chanda, who is the leader of New Congress Party, had dragged Dr. KAMBWILI to court for questioning President Edgar Lungu's association with the Lusaka businessman Mr. Valden Finlay, whom he had accused of being a drug dealer. But on the 18th of March 2021, Dr. KAMBWILI unreservedly apologized to President Edgar Lungu and Lusaka businessman Valden Finlay for his alleged statement that they were dealing in drugs.
My prayer is that His Excellency Mr. Edgar Lungu and Mr. Valden Finlay find it in their hearts to forgive me.
In speaking to journalists shortly after his acquittal Friday morning, the 14th of May 2021, Dr. KAMBWILI told journalists that he thanks the complainant for the action taken and that he is now ready to rally for President Edgar Lungu.
I've been coming to court for the past 5 years as if I work here. So a situation like this obviously calls for happiness and celebration, and I can only thank the complainant and the prosecution team for doing what they've done today. It's what everybody would be happy with. Although some people wanted me to be going to court every day, but what has been done calls for happiness and celebration. It is actually very, very taxing and depressing to the family, particularly. So I want to thank the prosecution and the complainant for what they've done today. And it's now time to concentrate on the campaigns. We know that the campaigns opened yesterday. So at least I'll be focused to campaign for my party, the Patriotic Front.
Meanwhile, Dr. KAMBWILI has refuted speculation that he was never on good terms with anyone.
I have never differed with Magistrate Musamba.
Are you going to reconcile
I've never differed with Mwenyamusenge. I've never differed with Mumbipil. I've never differed with them.
But they took you to court. Some of them took you to court.
Have the matters taken up? They've withdrawn those cases. So where did we differ? Thank you very much.
Miriam Kayemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
And moving on in the news, The Constitutional Court has dismissed the case where former Patriotic Front Luangeni Member of Parliament Charles Zulu was seeking the court's interpretation on what is equivalent to a grade 12 certificate and whether an individual without a grade 12 certificate but has a tertiary certificate cannot participate in the 2021 general elections. The Constitutional Court Friday afternoon ruled that it had found merit in the argument by the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the state that the issues that were raised by Mr. Zulu had already been decided upon in the Bizwayo Nkunika case. In this matter, the former lawmaker had cited ECZ and the Attorney General in the case seeking an interpretation of Article 70, Cap 1D in relation to the notification by the electoral body that they will not accept nominations from aspiring candidates with only qualifications from tertiary institutions without the prescribed grade 12 certificate during the August 12 elections. Mr. Zulu wanted a determination on whether, having regard to the Constitutional Court's judgment delivered on March 10, 2021 in the Bizwayo Nkunika petition and the pronouncement by ECZ on March 17th that tertiary qualifications such as a trade certificate, diploma or degree are not equivalent to a grade 12 certificate is a breach of the Constitution, considering that a grade 12 certificate or its equivalent is the minimum academic qualification required for a candidate. And reacting to the court's ruling, Zulu told journalists that he does not take the matter to court to qualify himself. He did not take the matter to court, rather, to qualify himself, but did so for candidates who have tertiary qualifications but lacked a grade 12 certificate.
Former Patriotic Front Luangeni Member of Parliament Charles Zulu has charged that there is need to remove the grade 12 clause when Parliament resumes because it has disadvantaged a lot of people who would like to contest in the elections, especially women who were nurses and retired police officers who can participate better than a grade 12. Mr. Zulu was speaking shortly after the court dismissed the case, where he was seeking an interpretation on what is equivalent to a grade 12 certificate and whether an individual without a grade 12 certificate but has a tertiary certificate cannot participate in this year's general elections. He said he did not take the matter to court to qualify himself, but for those candidates who have a qualification but lacked a grade 12 certificate.
It is very sad that a lot of people who went to school during the 1980s, 1970s, those who did standard 1, 2, 3, those who did form 5, you know, those days when you get to form 3, you could go to a college, you become a nurse, you become a clinic officer, you become a teacher, a policeman. All those people have been left out. It's very sad. It's a very sad situation. And I think all we need to do maybe is to go back to Parliament and remove this whole clause of grade 12 certificate because it really disadvantages people. For me, this grade 12 issue, you know, it's not like when you have a grade 12 certificate, then automatically people will vote for you. It should be up to the people to decide if they want to send to Parliament someone who did not go to school or someone who went to school. As we campaign, we sell ourselves. I have grade 12 in my house. So those kids in my house qualify. Me, I don't qualify with a diploma. And I took my diploma to Qualifications Council and they graded it grade 6. Okay? It was graded grade 6. Grade 12 certificate, mind you, it's at level 2.
In this matter, the former lawmaker had cited the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Attorney General in the case seeking an interpretation of Article 71D in relation to the notification by the Electoral Board that they will not accept nominations from aspiring candidates with only qualifications from tertiary institutions without the prescribed grade 12 certificate during the 12th August general elections. Mr. Zulu wanted a determination on whether, having regard to the Constitutional Court's judgment delivered on March 10th in the Bizwayo Nkunika petition and the pronouncement by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on March 17, 2021, that tertiary educations such as trade certificate, diploma or degree are not equivalent to grade 12 certificate is a breach of the Constitution, considering that a grade 12 certificate or its equivalent is the minimum academic qualification required for a candidate. But the court, in its ruling this afternoon, the 14th of May 2021, stated that it had found merit in the argument by the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the state that the issue that were raised by Mr. Zulu had already been decided upon in the Bizwa Nkunika case, hence dismissed the case.
Because there's still a lot of tension in the country. I'm not standing not because I don't have a grade 12 certificate or I have this or that. No, I came to court so that we could clear the air. Even if I had qualified, I wasn't supposed to stand. I've done 2 terms in my constituency, and mind you, that's why people even in my constituency are disappointed. Here's an MP who has delivered in his constituency 2 terms, and people are crying there. Okay, people are crying in my constituency. It's very sad. I've delivered. One woman even told me, "No, I'm from the hospital. I collapsed when I heard that you are not coming back." So it's very sad. It's very unfortunate. Did I need a grade 12 certificate to deliver what I've delivered there? Electricity, water that people needed, roads that I've done, the boreholes that I've drilled, the schools that I've built, the clinics. I didn't need that grade 12 certificate. And mind you, I was also a deputy minister at some point. No one came to me and said, "No, you are not debating well because you don't have a grade 12 certificate."
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Friends of the Zambian democracy have hailed the Zambian government's stated commitment to holding democratic and credible elections on August 12, 2021. Embassies accredited to Zambia are happy with assurances that the elections will be conducted in accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia and in line with international standards such as the Southern African Development Community Principles and guidelines governing democratic elections. The diplomatic community has since urged Zambians to commit themselves to the principles of democracy, good governance, rule of law, and respect for human rights as enshrined in the Zambian constitution. They have called for a process that is free, fair, and violent-free elections, adding that candidates should be accorded equal rights and protections. They say the Zambian people have the right to express their will through freely casting their ballots. The statement has been issued by embassies and high commissions of Australia, Canada, Japan, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the United States, which are accredited to the Republic of Zambia. And still in the news, the Southern African Interfaith Peace Mission says Zambians are resolved to promote and uphold peace before, during, and after the elections. Organization Director Howard Banda has cautioned politicians against influencing their members to engage in violent acts. Speaking during a briefing after winding up 380 kilometers, 13 days walk for peace from Lusaka to Kabwe, Mr. Banda says they will continue to advocate for free and fair elections.
They say action speaks louder than words. Various stakeholders have been calling for peaceful elections, but without tangible action. To demonstrate this commitment in advocating for peace, the Southern Africa Interfaith Peace Mission embarked on an awareness walk from Lusaka to Kitwe to raise awareness on the effects of political violence. Organization Director Howard Banda cautioned politicians against inciting young people to engage in violence.
It doesn't matter which political party you're coming from. What is very, very important is to ensure that we protect and guard our peace jealously. And we were so excited on the way. We discovered Zambians are actually united. And we didn't see any division on the way. What we saw is the message that they've been given by their political affiliates, not their affiliate too. And for those who run political parties, you waste your time if you think that you divide the nation by your tribal division, ethnic division, and so forth. Zambians are not interested. Their interest is who will give them the attitude to demonstrate their will and the will of God to prevail in this country.
Meanwhile, Southern Africa Interfaith Peace Mission Deputy Executive Director Benson Lungu says the 13-day journey was not easy, but he is happy that the mission was successful.
It was not easy, it was rough. We encountered blisters on our way. It was not easy. Moving from here to Kitwe is a long way. So we are appealing to the nation that let's embrace peace. We shouldn't just take this peace for granted. Let's embrace it. I am appealing to all political parties, just because as we are moving to Kitwe, we encountered with a lot of parties on the grassroots, which all supported us. UKND, PF, NDC, a lot of youths we interacted with. They all said they want peace.
Organization General Secretary Luke Mwanza says they will continue advocating for peace ahead of the general elections on 12 August.
Getting on the ground is we worked there to create awareness and promote peace, because we do not want war here in Zambia, we want peace. Despite all the political confusion that may come, at the end of the day, Zambia must be peaceful and must continue with peace, being a haven of peace. All people are coming to Zambia because there is peace. Let us not confuse the peace that we have.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
We take another set of commercials. Do stay with us as we still have international and sports news. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF have placed highly on the diversification of the agriculture sector to ensure national food security and increased exports of key crops. Vote for President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
It's Mayday all the way. You've worked hard. Now it's time to play even harder with entertainment that you'll absolutely love this month on GoTV. Okay. Shake things up a little and you'll never know what drama will fall. No matter your age, there's always some fun to be had. And if it ain't broke, they'll fix it anyway. For your favorite shows, stay connected to GoTV to get into Mayday Entertainment.
Find something to distract me.
You got it, no problem. GoTV, love it.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma is believed by many to be doing everything he can to delay his corruption hearing. Forced to resign in 2018 after a series of corruption scandals, Zulu is due in court in Pietermaritzburg on Monday to face 16 charges of fraud, influence, peddling, and extortion in connection with the purchase of firefighter jets, patrol boats, and military equipment from the French group Thales when he was still vice president. But just 1 month before his trial concerning bribes dating back to 1999, all his lawyers as one man gave up representing him at the end of April without the slightest explanation. Nothing has filtered out about their reasons, but the former president could reasonably ask for a new postponement, the time to reorganize his defense. Zuma has been defying the authorities in recent months from his Kandla home in rural Zululand, which was refurbished at taxpayers' expense for 20 million euros during his presidency under the pretext of security work. Despite multiple accusations of corruption, this self-taught anti-apartheid fighter, a herdsman who rose through the ranks without going to school, continues to enjoy fervent support and influence.
The embattled former South African President Jacob Zuma is due back in court on Monday in a graft case dating back more than 2 decades. Zuma is facing 16 charges of fraud, graft, and racketeering relating to a 1999 purchase of fighter jets, patrol boats, and military gears from the 5 European arms firms for 30 billion rands, equal to almost $5 billion at the time. He is also accused of accepting bribes amounting to over $283,000 from one of the firm's French defense giant, Thales. In the latest development, all his lawyers quit last month without publicly giving a reason. It is speculated that Zuma could seek for another postponement to allow a new legal team to prepare his defense and further delay the trial.
Or to conclude.
Zuma's case has caused a lot of controversies after he failed to appear before the inquiry commission in recent months, throwing the judiciary in a stalemate. He has been named directly or indirectly by more than 30 witnesses before the panel.
Still in international news, while Israeli-Gaza violence is still escalating with Israeli troops massed near the border and Hamas firing rockets towards the Hebrew state, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is proving to be one of Joe Biden's first big foreign policy challenges. His administration has condemned the violence but says Israel has the right to defend itself. But some in the Democratic Party are critical of the approach.
A growing rift in the Democratic Party over the U.S. government's unconditional support of Israel. The escalating violence between the Israeli military and Hamas is proving a big foreign policy challenge for the Biden administration. While diplomatic outreach has been ongoing, the administration has been walking a tightrope, offering support for Israel while acknowledging Palestinian hardships.
Israel has a right to defend itself from these rocket attacks, but we are deeply concerned with the loss of life among civilians, especially among children. Palestinians have a right to live in security and to live in peace, just as Israelis do.
But recent polling among Democrats shows growing skepticism about Israeli policies. A Gallup poll in March found that for the first time, a majority of Democrats now want to see the U.S. government apply more pressure on Israel to resolve the conflict with Palestinians. 53% compared to 43% in 2018. And a new crop of younger Democrats in Congress is taking up the charge.
We must condition aid to Israel on compliance with international human rights and end the apartheid We must, with no hesitation, demand that our country recognize the unconditional support of Israel has enabled the erasure of Palestinian life and the denial of the rights of millions of refugees.
Let me be clear. Every single death in this conflict is a tragedy. Every rocket and bomb that targets civilians is a war crime. And instead of condemning blatant crimes against humanity and human rights abuses, many members of Congress have instead fallen back on a blanketed statement defending Israel's airstrikes against civilians under the guise of self-defense.
While the U.S. government has restarted financial aid to the Palestinians, it has yet to reopen the U.S. consulate in Jerusalem, a key campaign promise. Nor has Biden yet appointed an ambassador to Israel.
We now get into sports news. Zamfoot Sports reports that Football Association of Zambia FAS Women's Super League side INDENI Roses has appointed former Zambia Women's Under-20 and Mobile Queens coach Wisdom KAIRA as the head coach of the club, replacing Benson Jambeshi at the helm of the INDENI Petroleum Refinery-sponsored side. Coach Jambeshi has since been moved to the technical advisory position at the club. Coach Chambeshi joined INDENI Roses in 2019 to help the late coach Robson Fuende Simokonde when he was unwell while the league was still in progress. With about 7 games to play before the end of the season, Chambeshi was part of the winning season for the 2019 Copper Belt Women's League, when INDENI were crowned champions. On the other hand, his replacement, Wisdom KAIRA, was one of the people that started women's football on the Copperbelt province with the late Mama Martha Shonga. Coach KAIRA is a former women's national team coach for the Under-20 and was also part of the Airtel Rising Stars coaching staff. He was coach for Copperbelt-based side Mobile Queens from 2009 to date until his recent move to INDENI. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Court acquits KAMBWILI for alleging that President Lungu and Finlay couriers drugs. 5 unadopted PF cadres to contest as independents. PEP struggles to mobilize 100 Lusaka-based supporters. In international news, South Africa to try ex-President Zuma on corruption charges. And in sports news, Wisdom KAIRA appointed INDENI Roses head coach. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Habakkuk 3:17 to 18, and it reads, "Though the fig tree does not bud and there is no fruit on the vines, though the olive crop fails and the fields produce no food, though there are no sheep in the pen and no cattle in the stores, yet I will triumph in Yahweh. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.